Hello, my name is Sheila, and I'm happy to share with you my entrepreneurial journey. As I have promised, I'll be doing this for a while now. I believe this is the time to start doing this for anybody who is looking forward to starting their own business but don't know how to go about it or need a little push in the right direction to let them know that if that is what they want to go for, it's fine. It can be a bit difficult, but with determination, you will get there. One, I'm going to talk about my why I decided to go this direction. So in 2005, I came out of the university with a first class honors as a textile designer. I had gone in to do industrial art and majored in textile design. Now, when I came out, I was offered the position as a teaching assistant in my university, which I did. And after that, I was offered to be trained as a junior lecturer, and that I declined. At the back of my mind, I just knew that I wanted to do something of my own. I chose this path because straight away, I guess I knew what I wanted to be in life. I'm somebody who loves to play with colors, to play with shapes. I'm somebody who likes to give life to things, to dead materials, dead items. I like to give life back to them. And I also like to empower women, to inspire women. At the back of my mind, I've lived my life such that I always say that what will people remember you for when you're no more? And all of those came together. If I have to be working for somebody, of course they would remember me for something, but I wanted it to be tangible, to be feasible, to touch a life, make changes. I wanted to put myself in that position, and I saw myself as somebody who can easily do that because I sleep and wake up full of ideas. I'm like a thinking tank. I walk about with ideas, and everything that I see around me, I try to make meanings out of it and think of what I can do to give life to whatever it is. So I'd set off that way and trying to think of how to bring my strong artistic background together with helping women. And this is where it all started for me. When I started, I knew that I wanted to empower women. And I wanted to empower women because, one, I am a woman. And I kind of knew at the time, even though I wasn't married and I wasn't a mom, knew that women do go through a lot of problems. And as a woman, I identify easily with women. And I somehow resonate with some of the problems and challenges of women. And I felt that group of people will be easier to train, support, or handle than any other group. And so I ventured into inspiring women, into empowering women, into providing support for women with my giftings as somebody who would see anything, it could be anything at all, and I would sort of dismantle the thing and put it back together. So I practice reverse engineering if I'm using it right. So I could see a bag like this bag here in a shop. I just look at it. I straight away know how to put a stencil together for the bag, find ways and materials to bring them together, and straight away I have been able to produce it. So I knew I could be able to impact knowledge into people and make them better people going forward. So my tip here before you start your entrepreneurial journey is to identify a problem. First, identify a problem in your community or wherever you are. Identify a problem and then make an attempt to find solutions to that problem, and that can be your business. You see, so in my case, I identified a problem with women, with stay-home moms, with single women, and women on low income. I identified that most of the time women are left to raise their children on their own, and sometimes it's very difficult making extra money to support the family. So the idea was to offer skills to women to be able to start a small business of their own, to be able to raise extra income on the side. And that was not just that. Sometimes women go through a lot of mental problems just because of the kind of things we are subjected to. That is not to say that just women go through this alone. I know that some men do go through some of these challenges as well. But like I said earlier, because I'm a woman, I identify easily with women, and this made me choose this path. So I talk like that because I work with women and not just to single women out as they are the only ones who go through those problems. That's not to say that at all. Now let's talk about the initial idea. The initial idea was to empower women, and that was the goal. But I didn't have the money to start it. And obviously, the pressure from home made me want to go and look for a job, which I did. I started looking for a job because my mom, especially, just couldn't take it. She couldn't understand why I didn't want to be paid as a young girl who had come out of the university with high grades, and she felt I was wasting my time trying to start a business and especially empower women when I myself sort of needed empowerment because I didn't have money at all at that time. And I think that at a point her words got to me, so I had to go and start looking for a job. I started looking for a job. I got a job in Barclays Bank as a direct sales executive, but I didn't like it. I think I lasted in that job 3 days, and I lasted 3 days because that was my decision. Like I said, I was never cut out for things like that. So I did it for 3 days, decided this was not for me, had to walk out of it, unfortunately, and still went on pursuing my own dreams. The initial idea had to go on hold because I needed to make money to pursue that as well. Starting a charity in Ghana is a difficult thing to do, and people don't easily want to commit to things like that. So I started with the idea of turning our African prints into westernized styles so that it will be appealing to the young folks to increase sales of our prints. Now I had to prove a point to my mom that I could do this. So I packaged my designs. At the time, I think I had over 100 textile designs. I packaged, they got my portfolio together, and I walked into a textile company in Ghana. At that time, it was called Printex. I don't know if it's still there, but it was called Printex. I walked in and I said I wanted to meet their manager on ground. And I waited for a very long while. I was determined. I waited for probably over 2 hours or more with my portfolio in hand, and he said finally I was asked to go in and meet him. He was an Indian man then. I remember, I can't remember his name, but I think it's going to come to me. I think it's Manesh. And he called me in, so young, very slim at that time, with my portfolio. And he said, "Well, young lady, what can I do for you?" And I said, "Oh, I wanted to work with them. I wanted to work in their design department because I have my portfolio here and all that." And he said, I remember very well, he said, "Oh no, we already have that position filled, but your designs are brilliant, but there's something I want you to do for me. What else do you do?" And I said, "I can do graphic design." And let me point this out. I had to learn graphic design on my own. This is not something I learned from the university, but I had to learn graphic design on my own to design my own print designs. When I was training as a textile designer, we never used computers to do our designs. All our designs were handmade. We had to make them, paint them, and design it by pencils, stencils, paint them in, and all of that. We never used computer. But when I came out of the university, I realized I needed to upgrade. So I had to learn how to do textile design on my own. And that was how come I was able to do over 100 designs and send them to the man at Printex. So he decided to give me this new offer, which was to design a billboard for him. But at the back of my mind, I also had an idea of starting a print magazine. So starting a magazine which I had called Insane Maglog. Part of it is a magazine, the other part of it is a catalog. And when I bring the two words together, it became Maglog. And I called it Insane Maglog. So the idea was to turn our African prints into westernized styles. Now, anybody who knew our African prints back then, we didn't put our African prints into dresses. It had to be into flamboyant styles, like we call them traditionally kaba and slit, which is the top and the long skirt. And those were appealing to our mothers, our grandmothers, and not to the young people. The idea was to increase sale of our African prints, and one way I could think of was to put these prints into fashionable styles like crop tops, hot pants, skirts, and things like that. And that was at the back of my mind as something I wanted to do. But God being so good, I think He wanted me to start at first anyway. So the man asked me what else I could do. And I said, "Oh, we could put African prints into westernized styles to boost sales, make our prints appealing to the younger generation so that we could have more sales being made, and this could generate extra revenue and income and all that." And he said, "That is brilliant." So he gave me my first job. Now, mind you, I had just gone in to show him my designs, just put myself out there as what I could do, what I had to offer. And he was giving me a different offer. Now, this was to make a billboard for the company. Now, this is a very big company. Anybody who knows Printex on the Spintex Road in Ghana will know what this company I'm talking about. It was a very big company, and he was giving it to me at that time at the age, I think I was about 25, going on 26, if I'm right, or probably, yeah, 25. He was giving it to me at that time to design a billboard for the company. And that was my first biggest business. How did I execute this task? Mind you, I didn't have money, but I had a passion and I had a dream. So for me at that age, getting my first big break, it was like everything to me. And I wanted to get it right. But I didn't have money to employ people. And I knew that I couldn't use my graphic design skill I just learned to do this, because this needed to be professionally made. So I needed a graphic designer. I also needed good fashion designers to sew beautiful garments for this billboard. I also needed models to model the garments for the billboard, because it's a textile company, and we needed to show that what I was telling him at the time was possible. So we had to put the print or the fabric prints into fashionable styles and use it as a billboard for the organization, and that was going to be put up there in front of the camp on the Spintex Road. This road is one of the busiest roads in Accra, the capital of Ghana, on the Spintex Road. So that was a big break for me. So I had to quickly think of how to get people together, people who will be willing to work with me and will not have to pay them, because I didn't have money, but I needed to do a quality job just so that it opens up doors for more businesses to keep coming. Another thing to note is, as an entrepreneur, you have to be very confident, because you're going to have to market a lot of things yourself. You're going to have to market yourself out there, show people you'll be able to do what you're saying you will be able to do. And you have to be able to encourage people to bring them along with you. Spell out your dream vividly and so well so that people will be willing to support you build this vision. And that was what I did. So I don't want to go too much into the details, but I was able to get a graphic designer. I was able to get models. I got 10 models, mind, lots of models. I got 10 models. I got fashion designers. I think I worked with 3 or 4 fashion designers on this project. And then I got one of the best at the time photographers in Ghana. I think now he's very, very big. I'll not be able to afford him, but I saw potential and I used him, and it really, really did work. So we had done the business, we had done the billboard. I sent it to them. The company liked it, and it was displayed. And on the billboard, I had 2 of my sisters on the billboard, and I think I had 2 of their friends as well, or one of their friends. I can't remember too well, but I had 2 of my sisters in there. One of my sisters looked very much like me. So sometimes people pass by on the street, and then they give me a call, and then they ask, "Oh, we saw somebody who looks like you on the Spintex Road on the Printex billboard. Is that you?" Then I'll say, "Oh no, that's not me. That's my sister, but I did the design." And it was like, then my parents knew that really I had some fire burning inside of me. And if I say I wanted to do something, I go all out for it. And I was left alone to pursue. Now, after this big project, I knew that my passion to be able to start a fashion magazine was on its way to becoming a reality. Because one, I've been able to create relationships, I built relationships, and I knew that I knew where to go to be able to get what I wanted, because now I've built a relationship at the fabric company. I have a graphic designer on stand, I have a photographer on stand, I have models, and I have designers. So I knew that definitely from this point on, I will be able to gather people to work with. And that was how I was able to build my team for the in-thing maglog. So what I did was to go back to the fabric company, and at that time, Manish was still working with them. So I went back to him. I think when he said, "Oh, you come back. What do you want this time?" And I said, "Oh, I want to start a fashion magazine." I'd spelled out my concepts to him. He bought it. He liked it. He said, "Printex will be happy to be part of this. So we are going to give you a bill of fabric, African prints, to be able to turn them into westernized styles, appealing styles, put them in your magazine, write about it, and let's see where it goes." So he gave me a bill of fabric. I got my fashion designers together. We did a lot of garments. We got the models to model it out. We took pictures for the magazine. We put a content together, and it was a beautiful content. This was launched at the British Council in Ghana. It was at a beautiful event, and I'll be sharing. Now, before I start talking about the charity, because I'd gone on to set up a charity called Gold Heart Organization. Before I talk about that, let me talk about the magazine and the mistakes I did with the magazine that cost me a lot. It cost me a lot. I love magazines. I like publications. I love the media. So you see that I've still done things in the media, and I hope to one day go back to doing fashion magazines, even if it's an e-magazine. But for Infin Maglog, it started off brilliantly. We came out with the first edition. Then we came up with a newspaper edition as well, because we realized that not everybody could afford the magazine. So we had come out with the first edition, come out with a newspaper bit of it, and then we were going back to do a second edition. And for the second edition, I wanted to get marketers on board to market the first edition for me, whilst I got enough time to focus on coming out with the second edition. And that was where I was messed up. I was messed up big time. Now let's talk about overcoming challenges as a young entrepreneur. And this is something you would encounter as you go along. Now, for me, some of the challenges I had encountered was, I told you, being an entrepreneur at that age wasn't common back home in Ghana at that time. And everywhere I went, the people I met, especially the men, most of them wanted to have an affair with me because I was young and I guess I was beautiful. Let me blow my own horn a little bit. And when I went, they were a bit surprised, and most of them will ask, "Why, are you not working for a company? Why do you want to do things on your own? Do you know that this is a very difficult task?" And I remember one time, one of them said, "Why have you chosen to take a dagger to kill yourself?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." And another, people kept saying things, but as a young girl trying to do something on my own, meeting men and having to sell out your dream to them could be quite difficult, because as you're selling out your dream, they are thinking of having an affair with you, and that made it really, really difficult. Now, before I came out with my first magazine, mind you, I had done the print text job. My mom still wanted me to go and work because she felt it was difficult. Even though she had seen my job, she was still pushing for me to go. So in my quest to looking for money to go to print for my first magazine to come out, I was introduced to somebody who was interested in funding my first project. According to him, the terms was going to pay him the money without any interest, because I was an inspiration to young girls and he wanted my magazine to become very successful. So he funded my first print, and I was able to go to print my magazine. Now, I had issues with the print. The print came out horribly. My first print came out horribly. I remember the day I had booked the room, I booked the space for my lunch. Everything was ready, was in place. And I think I even had I don't remember too well. No, I paid for British Council. I paid for the venue, but I had a few services for free because everybody wanted to support me because I was young and wanted to do something for myself. I had a lot of support. I had the media house in Ghana come to video the whole event. TV3 came to interview me, and I went on a number of TV stations to be interviewed at that time. GTV, TV3. I went on another pay-per-view station and I'd even come to England to be interviewed on Ben TV. At that time, it was called Ben TV. Now, the lesson to learn here is that as an entrepreneur, you have to be all-rounded. You have to learn a little bit of everything that comes together to make your business whole. I couldn't learn how to print, but I had to learn a few things about printing. I also had to upgrade myself on graphic designing, on writing, on proofreading, on a lot of things. I had to gather skills that will help me along the way, because I also realized that if somebody is working for you and they realize you don't know what the job is about, they do it anyhow. But once they get to know that you have fair idea of what job you are expecting of them, they do it very, very well and they deliver very well. So that is a point to take away as an entrepreneur. Learn something about your job, your business. Learn how to do it yourself so that you will never be let down. Even when you're let down, because you have a fair idea of it, you can still pick it up, carry it on, and keep it moving. Else you're going to have to stall and you will not be able to progress. As an entrepreneur, every day means a lot. Every day means a lot. The little work you put in every day goes a long way to help your business. If you don't do any work, remember that in that day, your business is lacking. So these are some of the things I learned. Another thing I also learned was, because my marketers let me down so bad. They didn't market my product. They just went to dump it somewhere, took my money and bolted. So I had to learn how to market it myself. Draw the line between your business and pleasure. As a as a girl, as a woman, as a young person, as you pursue your business, you would have people wanting you to mix business with pleasure. Don't do that. Don't do that. Set targets for yourself and make sure you work towards your target. And also try and make friends with entrepreneurs because they would inspire you rather than other people who don't understand what being an entrepreneur is, because they'll make you feel really, really drained. They'll think you are overworking yourself, and then they'll also make you feel like you're wasting your time. So find yourself in the right community, and that will also help a lot. Also learn every day. Learn every day. Look for something new that has come up in your industry or your area of work that you have to learn. Make sure that you are always upgrading yourself, and remember not to mix your business with friendships. What I mean by that is know that the real people who make your business grow are not your family and your friends. They're the people you do not know. So cherish those people and grow your business with that in mind. Know that your friends, your family will not really help your business grow. My next point will be learning and growth. Learn every day. I use the internet. I learned a lot from the internet. At that time, YouTube had just come. I learned a lot of things on YouTube. I also had to scout for ideas. I read books and I learned from young entrepreneurs. I had to study from other people as well. And that was how I gathered my knowledge to where I am today. Now, the mistakes I made. I made a lot of mistakes as a young entrepreneur. Obviously, I was now learning the ropes, so mistakes were bound to be made. First one was giving the magazine, trusting my magazines to marketers and thinking they were going to do it for me, and not being involved in the marketing process. That was my mistake. Always try and be involved in whatever you are doing, whatever action you take concerning your business. Be a part of it. Be in the know. And I also learned something for myself to say that the best servant of man is himself. So you are your best servant. Don't always trust people to do things for you. Be part of the process. Be involved in the process. And these were some of the mistakes I made that I'm happy to point out to you. Be part of the process. Don't give up. Keep going. Even when you don't see any results, keep pushing. Be consistent. And that is when you make. All right. So I had done my first sprint. Like I said, somebody had loaned me money. I had done it. My print came out poorly. I tried to market it, but it didn't work that much. Then I went on to do my newspaper version, which I was able to sell, and then went on again to do my second edition. And for that one, I had my little sister as my cover page image. That also did well. I had the opportunity to come to the UK at that time to be interviewed on Ben TV. I spoke about my magazine. I brought some here for people to see it, to see the styles and what the concept was about. The magazine was, I think the concept was beginning to pick up. It was doing well. Let me just state here that my mother bought into my dream finally, and she funded my second edition. She funded the print of my second edition. And hopefully she probably would see this, but I want to say thank you to her for that, supporting my dream finally. I did that with the magazine, and later on decided to add something else to it, and that was to give a total makeover to women. So in the magazine, I had set up a portion where I was going to be giving a total makeover to people. And I was going to be working with people, women from the villages, pick them up, dress them up, give them a total makeover, show them what it feels like to live like a fulfilled woman, groom them up in that way, provide skills for them. As I was building my magazine, I'd come up with a charity that I called Gold Heart Organization, that was to empower women through artisan craft workshop. I built a team for that as well. I got a few people from my university back home, people who had done rural art, who had artisan craft skills in drawing making, in millinery, in dressmaking, brought them together to train women, and we were able to train from 2007, I guess, to 2012. We had trained over 400 women I brought people together. Back home at that time, there were a lot of graduates in the system who weren't working, and most of them wanted to learn new skills to start small businesses of their own. So the organization had literate and illiterate women we were training and offering skills for them to start small businesses of their own. This was a really, really good concept. People were buying into it. We had a lot of people to do it, but we didn't have money. We didn't have money. Charitable work in Ghana is very, very difficult to raise money to do it. So we did a few projects, dinner projects in Ghana to raise funds to carry on with the project. Just at that time, I met my husband and I traveled. But let's talk about my achievements during this. 2005, I came out of the university with first class honors. I wanted to start a business of my own. I did that. I started working for myself. I did the Printex billboard that was put up for I think close to 2 years before it was brought down. I started a fashion magazine in Thin Maglog. I did my first edition. I did my newspaper versions of it, 2 editions of that, and I also did my second edition for the magazine. So I come out with 2 magazine editions, 2 newspaper editions, and then I started a charity called Gold Heart Organization. I also won an award for young entrepreneurs in Ghana at that time, and I organized a big event. So I'd also ventured into event organizing to be able to raise funds for my charitable cause. I did programs at the Labadi Beach Hotel. I had a good relationship with the Labadi Beach Hotel, and we did programs there. I think on sponsorship, part sponsorship, we had done projects there as well to raise funds. I think we did a fashion show there, and then we did a dinner event there as well. And Labadi Beach Hotel is a 5-star hotel in Ghana. We had brought people in from collaborators in from Nigeria to help us do a show and raise funds for this. I was also interviewed on Ben TV in London to talk about the magazine. I was interviewed on TV3 in Ghana, one of our top TV stations in Ghana. The launch of the magazine was featured as a news item on TV3. I was interviewed by a number of newspapers in Ghana, if I can remember. I was interviewed in Daily Guide as well, and other news agencies picked the interview up. I was also interviewed on a pay-per-view TV station twice as well, and I think a number of interviews had gone. I can't remember all of them, but I'll share pictures of those that I remember going. Together with all of that, I think we had gotten a land at Pram Pram given to us by an Anglican father when he got to know the things we were doing for women in the community to be able to put up a vocational school. And that, I think at just about that time I traveled. So those were some of the things we did. And to crown it all, we were able to empower over 400 literate and illiterate women in Ghana. So these are my highlights that I remember as I went on the journey of being an entrepreneur back home just before I married and relocated. Now I travel, started my family as a mother, still looking for ways to be able to impact women and empower women. And so we started Skilled Hands Organization here in the UK, and it's been going for nearly 6 years now. Started in 2018. Still going strong and strong. So far, we've empowered at around 280 women, nearly 300 women here in the UK since we started, and we're still going stronger and stronger, all because one person decided to use their giftings and skills to inspire, empower, and motivate women to live a healthier, fulfilled, successful life. And that is where we are today. So Skilled Hands had grown out of a concept which I started in Ghana called Gold Heart Organization. I knew that concept helped a lot of women, and coming in here, I knew it was also going to help women because women all over the world are the same. We go through the same challenges, and that was why Skilled Hands started here. We met the right people who helped us shape the project up, and today Skilled Hands is what it is today. So basically, all the experiences I'd encountered back home, the challenges I'd gone through, all the knowledge I'd put together, built myself up, empowered myself with, I brought it together to start Skilled Hands, and today we are here. I'll do a proper video on life as a mom and as an entrepreneur, but for brief, this life has not been easy as a mom and as an entrepreneur. Trying to juggle both has been really tough, but I love it because every day I see the smiles I put on the faces of women. I see that personally I'm evolving, I'm growing, I'm learning a lot. I also see that impacting life and changing the world, and that gives me fulfillment and that keeps me going. So being a mom, being a wife, being an entrepreneur has not been easy, but on the whole I love it. And these are some of the things you need to keep in mind as you go on this journey. Be real with yourself, keep a work culture. Now have a work life balance. Put aside some time for work and some time for your family. And it's been difficult doing this effectively, but I try my very, very best to be able to juggle these positions because I have two children and I have to see to their needs as well as try and do my duty as an entrepreneur, because that is what brings me fulfillment. And if I have not satisfied that bit of my life, I don't think I'll be able to function well as a mother. So yes, I try to put things right. I have a time to work and a time for my family. Strike the balance, strike the difference, and you would be fine. Future vision for Skilled Hands is to see that we are able to expand and reach other parts of Nottingham, probably go to Nottinghamshire and probably overboard. That is a dream, that is a vision, and we pray that God will take us there as He started with us. Skilled Hands currently also have a podcast channel, and if you've not signed up to it yet, I'll say please do. We have a video platform for podcast channel on YouTube and it's known as the Skilled Hand Sounds. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter as Skilled and Sound, Instagram as Skilled and Sound, on YouTube as Skilled and Sound. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast as Skilled and Sounds. Look for us and subscribe to this mission of empowering women and making that women live a fulfilled, satisfied life. Please do that and support the mission. We also have our YouTube channel. Probably you'll be watching me here on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel where we upload constantly craft tutorial videos. And if you've not subscribed to it yet, please do well to subscribe to that as well. So we hope to bring Skilled Hands to every home possible, either through our workshops or through the products we make. We hope that some way, somehow, Skilled Hands will make. Going forward, I would like to encourage you to be resilient, to be persistent. Entrepreneurship always involves setbacks, but it's your ability to pick yourself up, bounce back, and move on that matters. You don't have to give up. You may hear a number of no's, but know that in all the no's, one yes will pop up somewhere if you do not give up. So I'm going to encourage you to never give up. Don't hit to the negativity. You have a lot of challenges, setbacks. Don't hit to them. Just keep the passion up, be fired up, keep moving and going. And with time, you'll see that you'll be making an impact and you will be happy at your achievement. Yes, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to them. Just keep moving, keep being fired up, and keep breaking bounds. And we'll meet on the other side of success together. That if you've not yet subscribed to Skilled Hands YouTube page, please do so now. You can also subscribe to our Skilled Hands Sound channel, that is our podcast channel. Please follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, here on YouTube, and all over social media. Leave us all your comments as you go on this entrepreneurial journey. If you encounter any problems, any challenges, if you need some added knowledge or you need us to support you at some point, just reach out to us, send us a message, and we will be very happy to support you. Please leave all your comments in the comment section below. Let us know that this video was helpful, that you had watched it to the end. Support it with all that you can. Until we meet you again, have a brilliant day and bye.